Yo, what's up, guys? Are we recording? We on? What's going on? Happy Friday. Friday. We're gonna live stream today. Get into it. And I might play our intro. Let me play that intro to get us warmed up a little bit. Inverted gear. Where you at, inverted gear? Hey. What's up, guys? Get your inverted gear. Hey, what's up, guys? Where am I? There I am. What's going on, guys? So we're live streaming again. Don't think I can do it tomorrow, so I was like, let me just force it today. And you guys can always watch these videos later on. So the main topic for today is concussions, but that'll be for last. We're gonna save that for last, guys. Just for you guys. Any updates? I just started Patreon, so you guys, if you want to support the channel, you can do that. In addition to whatever else, other stuff going on. But yeah, we're gonna get started. Where are we getting started at, though? Let's see. Hopefully you can't see all my tabs. Oh, there we go. Boom. Can you guys see that? We're gonna get started with Mica. You guys love Mica. You guys love him, don't you? I know you guys love him. So he just made his debut back in IBJJF. We haven't seen him since ADCC. He's been taking a little break, hanging out with his girlfriend, doing whatever. He's still a young guy. And I know he was going to do MMA, but I think maybe that's not going to be for a while. So good to have him back. And you guys got to remember, these guys are really young. They haven't really, they've traveled for tournaments and stuff, but they really haven't lived, their lives too much. They really haven't lived too much life outside of the mats. Where am I? So yeah, we'll get back to him. So let's just start from the beginning. They got him walking towards the mat. So huge shout out to BJJ Korea. CRIA, not Korea, Korea. So they cover a lot of the Brazilian side, the Brazilian news that you're not going to see with Flow Grappling. So they do a really great job. Shout out to those guys. So they got Mica going towards the mat. I know you guys love him, so, spoiler alert, I think he wins everything. But ADCC champion should be winning a local tournament, right? And, you know, Nogi's still developing in Brazil. They don't really train Nogi that much. They've been changing it lately, but they really weren't about that Nogi life like that. But they're changing, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. They had one match over here. Where is the match at? Here we go. That music gotta get me. Ooh. So you see Mica playing guard. Really, I mean, obviously he's just pretty chill. And man, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of competitors in Brazil. A lot of good competitors. That was Mica's dad. You know, Mica's got really good wrestling. Probably take some lessons from his girlfriend. He's attacking the back from a crucifix. Takes the back. You know, Gumby Jiu-Jitsu right there. Rear naked choke for the finish. I forget what tournament this was. Rio Fall. So this is kind of the warm-up to Brasileiros. So they got Brasileiros coming up. There we go. There's Mica right there. So that's the big one. Someone told me, I think there was like 5,000. I thought Pans was big, but there's like 5,000, 6,000 competitors that will do Brasileiros. So that's pretty amazing. So cool to see Mica out there again. Again, I know you guys love him. And I thought they had some more matches of his, but I mean, yeah, no surprise there, right? And I believe IBJJF also had, let's see if we can search that. Ooh, I hope no girls popped up in that search bar. Did you guys see any girls in there? Yo, that could have been bad, guys. That could have been bad. Could have seen some girls in there. You know, and on Instagram, you got to like get rid of your searches. Oh, man, I hope nobody saw nothing over there. Don't pause that video, guys. Oh, man. I think I've been good. I hope I've been good. I hope I've been good. Oh, no. Oh, man. Man. Oh. So, yeah. There's Mica. Did he say something? I think they had some more of his matches. Is that Mica? There we go. We got some matches, guys. Yo, IBJJF, did you? Maybe they took the videos. Yeah, Mica. I mean, he's so good, man. I mean, you pop up to your local tournament and then ADCC champions there. Is that fair? You're like, yo, get out of here. So some passing for Mica. You don't see his passing too much, but right to the back. Jesus. He's got like every attribute. He's got the speed. He's got the flexibility. He's got the strength. He's got the youth. You know, it's kind of not fair. The only thing he don't got is height. So God was like, all right, man, I think I gave this kid enough stuff. You got that submission. I don't think this is him. Nah, somebody else. Who is that? Pipio Chapi? I can't say that name. That was not him. There's Mica again. Oh, that's the match we just saw. Mica looking focused. That music, guys. That music get me. Is that the same match? You know they love Mica when they show the same match over and over again. And that's the one we saw too. There's Mica with his medal. He got too many medals, bro. And let's see what he's got to say. Oh, Jesus Christ. That music, guys. I can't play that music. Yo, I cannot play that music. So we did see this match. He did, you know, the back take. You see how Gumby he is? Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I thought they were going to interview him, but I guess not. I wanted to see an interview. Yeah, I don't think they interviewed him. One more time. Yeah, no, same match. Yeah, so that was cool, man. You know, Mica got value. You guys love Mica, bro. Last video we did, Mica the new Marcelo Garcia? And I don't know. Do you guys think he's the new Marcelo? I think he's Mica. I think he's just himself. Now we got another story. It says MMA fighter takes on 4 people in a parking lot brawl. Alrighty. Maxim Arbil found himself in the middle of what felt like an action movie scene, then a routine trip home. When late night parking dispute in Thailand turned into a 4-on-1 brawl. I'm assuming I'm not sure this is the locals in Thailand or it's the foreigners. if you go to Thailand, guys, don't fight the people in Thailand. You're gonna go to jail, and you might not get out of there. They were on their way home when they found their driveway blocked by another vehicle. What started as a simple request to move the car quickly turned into a chaotic street fight after a group of men, 4 in total, refused to back down and escalated things in a fight. I'm sure they were drunk. Why are you guys fighting, bro? Don't do this in America. You could do this in Thailand, but if you go to America, I assure you, you will get shot. I don't care how much MMA experience, what your jiu-jitsu belt is, or whatever. He says, they were blocking the entrance and my boyfriend tried to talk to them, but it escalated quickly. I guess that's the girlfriend. Video of the incident captured by bystanders show Arbil calmly defending himself as multiple men try to overwhelm him. Pause on that. Despite being heavily outnumbered, he uses his training to neutralize the threats without throwing wild punches or losing control. The confrontation lasted around 20 minutes, with the security guard from the building reportedly too intimidated to intervene. When local authorities finally arrived, no one was seriously injured, and neither side decided to press charges. You know these guys from like Australia and UK, somewhere like that, bro. Oh, wait. It says Belgian MMA fighter takes on 4 Indian tourists. So this was no locals. It wasn't Thai people. This is the people on vacation fighting. So terrible, terrible situation. Could have been bad. Somebody could have got injured, hurt really seriously, locked up, or even worse. So, if you're fighting, guys, don't do it. We too old to be fighting. Oh, Jesus. That music. I'll play the video, guys. I just cannot play that music. That music, bro. For real, bro. Where's the video at? Shoot. I think we lost it. I don't want to play the music. That's all. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe I can, let's see if I can finagle this, guys. Got the technology. Here we go. Let's see if they can get me. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Let me go back. Here we go. So yeah, he's fighting these Indian dudes. Yo, he got the weight advantage, height advantage, reach advantage, training advantage. What in the world? It looks like he's bullying them. I know it's not the right situation, but let's watch one more time. Will it let me watch again? Instagram, bro. Instagram. So yeah, he's fighting the 4 dudes. It is like a movie. They're not jumping them one at a time. The Gracie brothers told me they're gonna come out, more than one at a time. But here they were going kind of chill. So yeah, I think it's just drunk people acting a fool out there, guys. I hope it wasn't one of you guys out there. Just got kneed in the head yesterday. Dang. You got the CTE, bro. You got this. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What happened, bro? Somebody's trying to knee cut? What happened, Alonzo? Yeah, bro. It's rough in jiu-jitsu. People be like, yeah, jiu-jitsu's easy. Bro, we be getting kicked, knee in the balls, knee in the head, knee in the ribs. Fingers be going the wrong direction. Toes going the wrong direction. Neck is tweaked, concussed. What else we be having? Shoulder, knee. Yo, yeah, we be jacked up, bro. Jiu-jitsu's not that easy. It looks easy. You go to a local tournament, you got to fight Mica. You're like, bro, what in the world? If you're a wrestler, you don't have to go fight Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Snyder or Kyle Dake or somebody. Jiu-jitsu's crazy, bro. Yeah, so yeah, don't be out there fighting, guys. Don't be out there fighting. Dang, Alonzo, I'm sorry, man. Back on Instagram. Oh, I did not organize this stuff, guys. Usually I take my time and organize stuff. But today, we're just going to go straight. No fluff today. So we were talking a lot about IBJJF. I know you guys love IBJJF. I've been doing IBJJF tournaments for almost 20 years. I think 2007, the first time I did one. It's almost 27, so almost 20 years, 18 years. So, I give them a lot of heat. But I've also, supported their business. I feel like I should have a say a little bit, right? I pay my membership like all you guys. I feel like I should have a say. What do you guys think? Should I have a say? Or should I just shut up and not talk about them? What do you guys think? So we had a story. I don't know if I was here for this world championship or what, but I do remember this story. So it was Anna Viera, who I believe is the brother of Hadolfo. Am I right? Am I right about that? I feel like this is his sister. So 2023 records that I never had the courage to share. So this is from an old story. I think she released this recently, but it's an old story. But it's still relevant. After more than a decade competing under IBJJF, winning multiple world titles in color belts and black belt, I never expected to feel so abandoned by the very organization I helped bring prestige to. In 2023 World's Absolute Final, I lost consciousness from a choke. I tapped twice, but the referee didn't see it. I was left unconscious for 15 seconds with no immediate medical response. When I finally came to, there was no ambulance on site, no proper care, and IBJJF refused to call for medical help until public pressure forced them to act. They only paid my hospital bill months later, after debt collectors were already calling my wife. No official statement, no follow-up, no concern for my well-being, just silence. IBJJF thrives off the hard work of its athletes while failing to provide even basic safety measures. If we keep supporting this system without demanding change, we are only building their bank accounts, not the sport. Athletes deserve better. Jiu-jitsu deserves better. It's time for change. So this was 2023. This happened 2023. It's 2025 now. Have things gotten better? I don't know. I will say, from my own experience, I did PANS. Bro, I couldn't find a medic. I was looking for a medic for my boy Jose. He had got kicked in the mouth, which the referee didn't see also. Referee didn't see him getting kicked in the mouth and penalized him, costing him the match, which was bad. But we couldn't find the medical staff. There was no medical area that I could see. I was looking. I couldn't see it. So imagine you're in a medical emergency. You're looking for some help. If I couldn't find it and I had time, if you're under pressure, you're worried about your friend or yourself, you definitely not going to find it. RC says, I'm the GOAT of BJJ. All right, bro. You are the GOAT, maybe. You got to fight Hodger, bro. You gotta. It's like Highlander. You guys know Highlander? There can only be one. So that happened 2023. Very unfortunate. Fion's over there. A few people we know responding to some of the messages. She did have some more to this post.
Me, a moment to come here and talk about what happened during my open class final at Worlds. And
I can't pause it at all. Here we go. Keep going.
I don't have much to say. I just would like to thank everybody, for all the support. Luana told me that she got a lot of messages, of people, sending love and wishing good things for me. So I really, really appreciate you all. I don't have much to say about what happened. It was just, unfortunately, it happened with me. And I'm still not ready to.
So this is after the match, I believe.
Do you want me to lay this back?
Very unfortunate situation. While we're talking about this is a clip from Roberto's post. While we're talking about concussions today, I mean, all that stuff's kind of related. Concussions chokes on the neck. It's all not really good. So moving on, let's see what we had here. Tom Hardy. You guys love Tom Hardy. Who loves Tom Hardy here? I think you guys all love Tom Hardy. He was in Venom and what was that? What was the other movie? What was the one with the apocalyptic times? He's in the car, the truck. Somebody in the chat, let me know. What was the name of that movie? I can't remember the name of it for some reason. He was in a few different movies. Batman. He was Bane. A few other movies. He was in that motorcycle movie. I can't remember the other movie he was in though. Yeah, but you guys love him. So let's see what he's got to say. Hopefully he's got sound.
Jiu-jitsu journey going.
Yo, ain't that real? Ain't that real? One more time, Tom Hardy, for the rest of us.
Tom, how's the jiu-jitsu journey going?
So he says, how's the jiu-jitsu journey going? He says it sucks. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree with Tom Hardy that jiu-jitsu journey sucks? I mean, it's got its ups and its downs, its highs and its lows. So that is kind of true, He's in that point where he's in the low point. Yo, yeah, we all experienced that, man. It ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new, right? Tom Hardy, cannot for the life of me remember that one movie. So moving on, we've got Joseph Chin. He's got a new release. Things I Don't Show to Craig Jones. Maintaining an advantage over time, outside passing. Awesome. Someone said they watched it a week ago. One of the best passing camping instructionals he's seen. Shows a bunch of tweaks he's made to the hip and knee toriando. They've worked great in the limited time I've experimented with them. One thing I want you guys to note, because I have a friend that's kind of like Austin. He's a half Asian friend. Or not Austin. My friend, his name is Austin. Shout out to Austin. Alliance, Huntsville, Alabama. I have a friend that's like Joseph. They both look the same too, surprisingly. My friend's half Asian, but Mad Max Fury Road. That was it. Yeah, that was a pretty decent movie. I didn't see the new one. Was the new one good? Should I watch it? I don't know. If the movie's not getting good reviews, I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna waste my time going. But if you guys say it's good, I might check it out. But anyway, my friend Austin is built exactly like Joseph Chin, but he's smaller and he might be stronger. I don't know. But something you guys can't realize is their frame, their skeletal frame is so flexible. So when they're doing things, you think you can do it too. You think you can, but you two, Steph, you don't got the same formulation, the same genetic makeup. So always be mindful, guys. We see these instructionals, but you're not there in person. You don't see the little things, the strength differences, the speed differences, the skeletal differences, the whatever difference that is, whatever's making that difference with them that's usually the special sauce that they need for the technique to work. So always keep that in mind. When you're learning new moves, you're watching online, you're following these well-known figures. Just remember, there's usually something they got that you don't got. Just keep that in mind, guys. I just want you to keep that in mind. So when the technique ain't working, don't get upset at them. Yeah, don't get upset at them. All right, so moving on, we talked about this last time, I think. I'll try to post it on either YouTube or something. But ADCC banned all slams and Kani Basamis for their open tournaments, but not for the advanced divisions. Again, all slams are now illegal in all divisions. You can no longer slam to escape a submission. Again, if we read here, actually it does say that it's so illegal in all divisions except adult advanced. Okay, it should have been illegal. It should be illegal all the way around, I think. But let's read. So again, we're talking about concussions, right? How you think you're gonna get a concussion from slams? For sure. Yo, we also watched the video last time. We saw two slams. We saw Gio Martinez versus Jeff Glover. Bad slam. Somehow Jeff was still moving. And then we watched another match with Orlando Sanchez versus Tex Johnson. And I was watching another match. It was like Batista versus Kainen, Durante, or maybe Yuri Simoes from 2018. And in the background, you guys know who Edwin Najimy is. Let me know in the chat if you guys know who Edwin is. But anyway, he was fighting Tarsis Humphreys. And, bro, Tarsis slammed the crap out of Edwin. And you see him, like they went out of bounds, but you see him, like, checking his body, like, uh-oh. So them slams are terrible, you know. Those slams are terrible. So going back on the Reddit, can you still roll on the floor of a casino? Yeah. So with ADCC, you just keep going. You keep going on the cement, on the pavement, on the carpet, whatever is outside the boundary, you keep going. One guy says, I remember competing under ADCC out of bounds rules, and we literally rolled over the worst things possible, from big vapes to shoes. Most ghetto tournament possible. Yep, they gotta change these rules. I'm 100% for like the boundaries, or you know the cage or the pit, whatever, something to keep you in bounds. Yeah. Let's see. Yep. Carpet burn. There you go. Get that carpet burn, guys. Pause on that. The slam change is only for ADCC Opens. Slams are still legal at trials and the championships. The thing is, this whoever's in charge can change the rules overnight. So Mo or whoever else can be like, all right, change the rules right there. No discussion, no input, nothing. Sambo and catch wrestling dudes crying. Yeah, they crying. They can't slam no more. Yeah, they love the slam. Last ADCC Open tournament there here in San Jose, one of our students fractured his tibia in the intermediate division from Akani Basami, aka the scissor leg takedown. Probably surgery this week. Although prognosis is only 6 weeks out and recovery time, still fully support banning these in the lower divisions. Yeah, why do we have moves that can seriously harm our athletes and don't really add anything? You know, the rule set from ADCC is from the year 2000, guys. The year 2000. Do you know how long ago that was? 25 years ago. I would hope we could have some small changes in the rules. Jason says, Edwin was great. What happened to him? It's been a minute. Well, we got to do some investigation. Maybe towards the end of the video, we can look up where Edwin Najimy is. He's still around. My guess is that he's making money teaching, and which is where most competitors go. You know, they get tired of getting slammed. Tired of getting slammed and beat up. BJJ didn't pay him, so they're like, man, I better get to work. Jason also says, last time I saw Edwin, he was getting Kane Basami heel hooked by Gary Tonin at ADCC. Yep, that was the last time we saw him. We haven't seen him since. You know, maybe he got injured. We don't know. These moves are so dangerous. You can take some really great athletes out. You know, that's it. One injury, one leg break, tibia break, whatever break. That's it, bro. No more. You done. You retired. So, you know, longevity-wise, I think it's better if we get rid of slams and Kane Basami. What do you guys think? Why ban slams if jumping onto closed guard isn't banned too? That should be banned as well. I mean, I never thought it was an issue until we had white belts and crazy people destroying legs out there. So yeah, it's dangerous, bro. Jiu-jitsu is dangerous by itself, and then you add super dangerous moves, and then you know you just gotta say a prayer for yourself. I'm with you here. In any sport, the rules should be designed in a way to achieve a balance. If you allow guard jumping, then they have every advantage in that moment. There is no counter to guard jumping under these rules. Yeah, most people aren't really guard jumping. Only young people, guys like Roberto Jimenez and crazy young guys. Old guys ain't jumping. Beat up people ain't jumping. Actually, that Peter Frank, is that his name? We covered that Brazilian guy. That's always wins Masters 2. He be jumping though, but you know, he's an outlier, right? He says, disagree. They should also ban guard jumps, but banning hobbyists from slamming each other is still good. Ban everybody. In what world is slamming a good technique outside of self-defense? And even then, you slam somebody in self-defense, you're going to get sued. We covered the story of the guy in Thailand fighting the Indian bros. Imagine he's slamming those dudes. They would have been, you know, paralyzed, hospitalized. He's going to jail. He ain't ever getting out. So that slam, it escalates things, you know. They would not have had a good ending to their story if the guy was slamming them. What happened there? Good old Reddit, bro. If a guy catches me in a triangle and I lift him up above my head, he should either be forced to release the submission or I should be allowed to slam to defend. So this guy's gonna kill you. This is a crazy white belt that you train with at open mat. He trying to kill you. Imagine you go to open mat. This man over here trying to kill you. He remind me of my friend Richard, bro. Richard over here slamming people. Richard he tried to slam somebody and he almost knocked himself out. Yo, it's wild out here, bro. It's wild out here. Let's see. Wild that Kani Basami is still allowed in divisions, but slamming isn't. As long as I'm not spiked, I'd rather be slammed than risk my knees getting annihilated. I don't know. You want a massive concussion or nerve damage, or have your knees blown out? They both suck. Slamming can be fatal in the worst case. Kani Basami is a bad injury in the worst case. Well, if you break your leg and it's a bad leg break, you can also die that way. I don't know. Which way you want to choose? You want the slam or the Kani Basami? Well, I mean, they both can paralyze you. They both suck. Which one would you guys choose? To be slammed or Kani Basami'd? I don't know. They both pretty terrible. Jason Wilfield said, open mats are dangerous places. Go at your own risk. Yeah, I very rarely go to open mat. I've been injured at open mat. And it's like, bro, what in the world happened? I should have just stayed. I should not have rolled that day. I should have stayed my butt at home. Open mat, it's because you have crazy people. You get crazy people that they don't have any awareness. They're not trying to protect their training partners. They just, they're like this dude over here on Reddit trying to slam you and do the Kani Basami. He says, is it crazy? I personally value my brain over my knees, but maybe I'm crazy. Need to ban guard jumping. Not as common in Nogi, though. Scissor takedown has a lot of uses. It's unfortunate. It works so well. It's super dangerous. Yeah, well, you got to get rid of it. Kani Basami is way more dangerous than a slam. This is lame. They should invert this to allow slams at adult advance and bar scissor takedowns at all levels. I'd rather go for a ride than blow out my knee. I never pull or jump guard through though, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're just beating a dead horse at this point. So talking about celebrities, we got a few celebrities that you didn't know trained jiu-jitsu.
Celebrities you didn't know did martial arts.
Everyone wants the
Martial
story
arts.
of I choked out Jonah Hill.
Robert Downey Jr., aka Iron Man, has been doing Wing Chun for the last 20 years, which he credits with giving him the mental fortitude and strength to overcome his addictions. Keanu Reeves, aka John Wick, is a legitimate judo black belt and jiu-jitsu practitioner, which is one reason why the John Wick movies have slick grappling sequences. Hollywood star Jonah Hill also trains in BJJ, which gives him a hobby to not become a workaholic. Rap icon Wiz Khalifa trains in Muay Thai and MMA, and he's actually pretty good. Both Ashton Kutcher and Russell Brand are absolute badasses who have earned brown belts and purple belts in jiu-jitsu respectively. But Tom Hardy, aka Bane, is an absolute legend who competes and wins in jiu-jitsu tournaments as a blue belt, which puts him at the top of celebrities you didn't know.
So that's pretty cool. We got a lot of celebrities training. There's a few other celebrities we didn't talk about. We got the guy from Modern Family and what was the Married with Kids? Was that the series? From the 90s. They said Keanu Reeves. You got Zuckerberg. You got a ton of people, bro. A lot of people training jiu-jitsu. And in fact, we actually talked about that maybe a day or two ago. We talked about how jiu-jitsu is growing. So there's a ton of people training now. And Jimmy Pedro, if you guys know who Jimmy Pedro is, I I think he estimated it to be in the millions. So I don't know. It could be. It's still a niche sport. But whenever people are like, yeah, there's no money in jiu-jitsu, I'm like, bro, there's a lot of people that know what jiu-jitsu is, and I'm sure they will be willing to watch, certain matches. CJI kind of proved that people will watch, and it's got to be accessible. So, Flow Grappling is not always accessible. Sometimes the stream be kind of messed up. I like Flow Grappling. Shout out to Trey and the rest of the Flow Grappling crew. But sometimes it's just not accessible. There's monetary wall. It's kind of hard to get through. You gotta find a password somehow, and then you got your friend's password that knocks you off when they jump on there. So if you do like YouTube, like CJI did, man, you can get millions of views, which is pretty unheard of. I think you got like 4 million views in 2 days. So imagine the CJI number 2. What numbers they could do. And then the more numbers, the more eyeballs, the more ad revenue and sponsorship. That's where the money is going to come from, the sponsorship. That's something I wish IBJJF would work on more. Because, it can always be like, oh, we don't make enough money. I feel like we hear that all the time. But we don't make enough money. I've heard figures of them making $15 million a year. But listen, okay, we don't make enough money. Okay, we'll find some sponsors. Can you find some sponsors? Can Amazon or somebody sponsor? Somewhere in Brazil, somewhere in America. UFC is investing $12 million this year. You telling me IBJJF can't find $12 million from sponsors? And then give that money to the athletes and not pocket all that money? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Jason says, Married with Children, Ed O'Neill. Yep, Ed O'Neill. And, just a ton of other. Chuck Norris. There's like people like him. He was actually one of the first guys that brought the Gracies to America. He hooked up with, pause on that, I believe, Horian. And, that's how some of the, Hoist and Hickson and those guys got to come through to America, I believe. So now we got Sanji Ribeiro. He's rolling with Victor Hugo, Big Man Flow. So I believe they're at Six Blades HQ, which is in Austin. I've been there before, guys. I've been there before. I've been to B Team as well, but I don't like to talk about that too much. So we're going to watch him rolling. Hopefully there's no music. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's turn that music off. So, yeah, they're rolling. Yeah. Yo, Victor Hugo's huge. Shout out to him. He just got a big win over Nicky Rod, which, he's just bigger than everybody, right? And you can't tell because Sanji Ribeiro is big. And then Victor Hugo is even bigger. So Sanji, good passing. I think he's close to 40. He might be 42 or something like that. He's still rolling. He's got a match versus who? Not Gio. What's the other brother? What's the other Martinez brother? Richie Martinez? Is that him? So yeah, he's got a match with him. Who's number 1? Jesus Christ, that music, guys. If you're new to the channel, bro, that music, bro, me and music don't go too well on YouTube. Did it stop playing? Oh, there we go. Looks like Victor Hugo's looking for maybe an octopus guard. He's so big, bro. He's like the giant octopus. I always feel like these big guys don't really use their bodies properly. Like if you made me 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds, bro, I'd be tearing things up. Yo, what in the world just happened here? So it looked like he was going for octopus guard, then he kind of bailed out to like a turtle position. And then he's so big, look, he can wrap his arm around Sanji's body. He's able to pop back up. Okay, that's octopus guard. Giant octopus guard. Now he's in the single leg X, aka the Ashi. Sanji looking for the leg weave. Yeah, Victor Hugo just so big. Pause on that. I don't know who's he fighting. Do you guys know who he's fighting coming up? Because Nicky Rod is fighting Kynan. I don't know who Victor Hugo is fighting. He might just be helping Sanji train. Sanji gets through. Buggy choke. Yeah, Jesus Christ. You can't be this big and do the buggy choke. That ain't fair. That ain't fair one bit, bro. Okay. Yo, he's so big, bro. Look at this. He could just get his guard back whenever he needs to. What happened? Oh, okay. A little bit of it's not really rubber guard. Actually, yeah, that's rubber guard. Yo, he actually pretty flexible, huh? He's not super flexible, but he pretty flexible for his size. All right, that's pretty good, Sanji. Good luck to Sanji. You know, I'm rooting for him. I'm a big fan of him. Big fan of Sanji Hibera. He's amazing. So moving on. So now we're going to get into the main topic for today. So we're gonna talk a little bit about wrestling, and then we'll talk about jiu-jitsu as well. So this is concussion.org. So it seems pretty reliable, don't you guys think? And it says it's by the International Concussion Society. Sounds pretty legit. That looks pretty legit to me, right, guys? You could donate, yeah. So best practices for concussion safety for wrestling. We'll look specifically for jiu-jitsu, but we're going to be talking mostly for right now we're going to talk about wrestling, but I mean, what's the difference, guys? Ain't no difference. We do the same stuff. We actually probably get kneed in the head more, like the earlier commenter. It says wrestling can be a great way for children and teenagers and adults to stay in shape while bonding with their classmates and peers. But a recent study published in the American Journal of Sports Medicine found that wrestling has the highest concussion rate of all college-level sports. Wow. That's wow. What about football? Nah, wait a second. Oh, more than football? More than football? Come on, guys. Keep your child or student athlete safe during this year's wrestling season by following these best practices for concussion safety. Yo, football got to have more, right? Let's see. Jason says Victor Hugo is fighting Luke Griffith. Oh, on Who's Number One, 418. He looks pretty cool. I met him a long time ago. I think 2021. He seemed pretty nice. This is before he became Super Luke, but he was pretty low key, you know. Yeah, pretty low key person. I'm trying to get uh-oh. Could I see all the chats? Yeah, there we go. Okay, 418. That's coming up. 2 weeks or something like that. So good luck to those guys fighting. You know, I'm a big fan of both fighters, so don't want to see them both be healthy and have a good match. So it says, number 1, know the early signs and symptoms of a concussion. There is a range of symptoms associated with concussions, and they can be observed anywhere from immediately following a head injury to hours or even days later. Common early symptoms include headache, dizziness, blurry vision, memory loss, nausea, vomiting, difficulty sleeping, and sensitivity to light or noise. Knowing these signs and symptoms is crucial. Coaches especially are in the position to advocate for their athletes' safety. Coaches, listen to that, coaches. In fact, one wrestling coach saved a young athlete's life by being aware of the signs of concussion. So usually those, like they said, those are going to happen immediately to even a few days afterwards. So you got to be on the lookout. You know, if someone experiences that concussion, or you think they might have gone through a concussion, just be on the lookout. Make sure you ask them to, well, first off, you observe them. Make sure they got their wits about them. If so, you know, make sure you check up on them and tell them to let you know if anything's, feels kind of off, or they're dizzy, or anything happens different. Tell them to let you know. And of course, observe people, because, wrestlers think they're really tough, so they're going to be like, I'm tough, I'm okay. But, I mean, there's no There's no toughing your way out of a concussion, guys. Your brain, did you know your brain's really soft and squishy? It ain't no muscle, guys. Some of you guys might have a muscle for a brain. But most people ain't got a muscle for a brain. That brain tissue soft. It says both parents talk to youth athletes about concussion symptoms. Both parents and coaches should speak with youth wrestlers about the signs and symptoms of a concussion, as well as the importance of letting an adult know if they experience any of these symptoms. After all, half of high school athletes who experience a concussion do not report their symptoms, according to USA Wrestling. It's also important that coaches and players are aware that loss of consciousness likely won't happen following a concussion. In fact, less than 10% of concussions include loss of consciousness, according to University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, UPMC. So yeah, UFC a little bit different, boxing, MMA different. That they be knocked out cold. And you know what happens? They get knocked out, and then they fall. Head hits the mat again. Okay, double the brain damage. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, pretty terrible. Pretty terrible news there, y'all. Number 3, no USA's wrestling return to play concussion protocol. Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome. If you think your child or athlete has experienced a concussion, they should be removed from play immediately and not returned until receiving clearance from a healthcare provider. Athletes thought to have sustained a concussion should not be allowed to return to activity on the same day as the injury. Per USA Wrestling standards, return to play protocol involves 5 steps, and no more than 2 can be done in a single day. Wrestlers should not be returned to play until a written release is received from a physician or athletic trainer, according to USA Wrestling. This cautionary measure is in place to prevent a potentially fatal condition called second impact syndrome, in which someone experiences a second concussion before being healed from the first one. So we see this in boxing and MMA as well. Fighters get a concussion while training for their fight and then get they're supposed to be checked, right? But then they fight anyway, get another concussion, and then their brain damage is doubled or even worse. 4, know that wrestling gear likely can't prevent concussions. I mean, the headgear is designed to protect your ears, not your brain. You will probably need something to protect your neck and your head. You'd be wearing a suit of armor at that point. And the wrestling mats, 1 to 2 inches, 3 inches tops, this much padding is not really going to save you. No conclusive research has been done that suggests certain helmets, headgear, or mouth guards perform better than others in terms of concussion prevention, according to USA Wrestling. Because of the lack of research surrounding wrestling gear in the prevention of concussion, it's imperative for athletes to know about the signs and symptoms of concussion, as well as the importance of reporting symptoms early. I was watching a judo video. Maybe I can find it, but they had the kids practicing judo, but they had these helmets. So I wonder if that would be a better option, be a better option for at least the youth wrestlers. If you guys know about that, let me know in the chat. But I saw these helmets, like these white helmets. You see kids wearing them too, out and about. Not babies, kids, like actual kids, adolescents. 5, teach athletes about best practices for wrestling safety. Wrestlers, their coaches, and their families should be well versed in best practices for preventing common injuries. The most common injuries in wrestling affect the head, face, and knee, according to American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine. Skin infections are also common in wrestlers. You better be washing, clean all your gear. I want you to clean your shoes, your socks, your shorts, your spats, your sweats, your sweatshirts, your hoodies, everything, bro. Everything should be cleaned up, okay? You got that wrestler's headgear? Spray that headgear. Yeah. 6. If a concussion is sustained, rest is crucial. If an athlete is diagnosed with a concussion, they should rest. This means limiting any physical or mental straining activities, such as studying and playing video games. You heard that, guys. It's from concussion.org. For 10 days, according to USA Wrestling, most concussions will resolve themselves in a period of 7 to 10 days. Healthline notes, studying and other activities that require mental focus can be difficult for children recovering from a concussion. Persisting through these activities despite experiencing trouble can exacerbate concussion symptoms and extend the recovery process. If your child is struggling with schoolwork following a concussion, USA Wrestling recommends discussing potential short-term accommodations for your child with school officials. Awesome. That was pretty good. This is a really great website, concussion.org. If you're experiencing concussions, I got a few friends that are going through this or have gone through this. Be sure to research, look up, go to this website and read, guys. If it's not too straining, try to educate yourself. Yeah, this stuff's for real, bro. This stuff's real. I don't think we're not gonna go too long, guys, but we'll try to get through. Now we're on the National Library of Medicine, and it says the epidemiology of sports-related concussions in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a cross-sectional study. All right, I'm not the most educated person, so I'll try to get through this study, guys, as much as I can. Oh, I hate reading studies, but we'll get the synopsis. You guys like the synopsis? Where's Wendy at? Wendy, where are you? I need you to break this down for me. So the abstract. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a rapidly growing grappling sport with a wide spectrum of participants. We think it's in the millions, but for now we'll just say wide spectrum. This cross-sectional study examined the lifetime prevalence of concussions in adult BJJ practitioners in the United States using a 17-item survey. A total of 778, which was 11.4% female BJJ practitioners with a median age of 31 years completed the survey. Overall, the lifetime prevalence of self-reported BJJ-related concussions was 25.2. Also, guys, we didn't talk about this, but the girls suffer a lot of concussions. Oh, man. There's one with Kennedy Blades. Let me look that up real fast. Before we get into the study, you see I'm trying to avoid the study as long as possible. I don't know if we can find it, though. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I got a few accounts, guys. Got a few accounts. So look at my accounts. I can't block it. Let's see. Kennedy Blades. Knockout. There we go. So I will go back to the study, but we're gonna look at this later. But I believe the girls, especially when they're weight cutting, and they tend to have more concussions, I believe. Let's see. The lifetime prevalence of self-reported BJJ-related concussions was 25.2%. However, the prevalence was higher among females than males, sorry. Which is what I said, right? I said that. 43% versus 22.9%. Factors independently associated with significantly increased odds of having sustained a BJJ-related concussion include a prior history of concussions and female gender. The median return to sports time was 3 days. Oh, wow. So some people were going back immediately and some people were going back later, with 30.3% of participants returning on the same day, which USA Wrestling said not to do, right? The present study represents the first epidemiological research examining the concussions in BJJ. The results underscore the need for increased education on concussions and return to sports guidelines among BJJ coaches and practitioners. So I believe USA Wrestling, if we pop back over here, said you would need at least 10 days, 10 to 12 days. Was that the what was the prognosis? 10 days. 10 days in limiting physical and mental straining activities, aka video games, and studying. Yeah, you guys want me to read everything? Let me know. Are you guys bored yet? Or am I just reading to myself? Oh no. I guess I could practice. Let's read. We're gonna educate ourselves today. I don't want nobody to be like, Alec never told me all this stuff. Introduction. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a rapidly growing grappling sport with a wide spectrum of participants. In contrast to combat sports, BJJ focuses on submissions such as joint locks, chokeholds, and control rather than punches and kicks. The goal is to control and submit the opponent as opposed to striking and inducing trauma. Well, homeboy got kneed in the head. I think that was some trauma. This lack of purposeful trauma distinguishes BJJ from combat sports such as boxing and mixed martial arts. Like other contact grappling sports, there is a risk of concussion. According to the most recent international consensus statement on concussions in sports, sports-related concussion was defined as a traumatic brain injury induced by biomechanical forces. Sports-related concussions is typically a brief, self-resolving impairment in neurologic function. The derangement tends to be functional rather than structural in nature, and therefore is not often seen with neural imaging studies. So I guess your brain is still normal. It's just not functioning properly. The symptoms of a sports-related concussion are broad and varied, and do not have to include loss of consciousness. Return to sports and time to recovery from symptoms are also commonly studied among concussed athletes. Athletes with concussions who report more than 4 symptoms are at an increased risk of symptoms lasting greater than 1 week. So that's why they're saying that the recovery is important, because if you get the double knockout, the double concussion, you're going to probably get more than 1 symptom, more than 4 symptoms, and it's going to be more recovery time. There has been limited research of injuries acquired from participation in BJJ. Within the current body of published research, the focus has been in orthopedic injuries and skin infections. It has been observed that these injuries occur more often during practice than competitions. Oh wow! So people are getting concussed in training, not so much in tournaments. Previous research has shown the average BJJ practitioner competes in 2.18 competitions per year. That ain't the Gracie students. That's the regular guys, the regular students. Okay, so they're doing 2 tournaments a year, okay, and train 7.63 hours per week. So that's a few classes a week. 7 classes per week? That's a ton. Yo, who filled out this survey? They were training a ton, huh? The paucity of competitions relative to practice time is likely a factor in the majority of injuries occurring during practice. They're spending more time in training than competing, right? The current body of published literature does not include studies that examine the prevalence of concussions among BJJ practitioners. Exploring the epidemiology of concussions in BJJ may help determine the best strategies for identification, treatment, and prevention of concussions within the sport. The studies on the period prevalence of concussions has been carried out in similar grappling sports such as wrestling, which we talked about. In the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, wrestling from 2005 to 2006, concussions represented 5.8% of all injuries, or 0.42 concussions per 1,000 athlete exposure. During the 2011 to 2015, I guess that season, those seasons, the concussion rate in NCAA wrestling was reported to be 0.89 per 1,000. So it was higher. Well, it was longer. Well, they did the study longer, right? Data from the NCAA injury surveillance system reveals a steady increase in concussion rates among all sports. Wow, what's going on? Why is there more concussions? Is it just they're better at identifying the concussions? The symptoms, what's going on, guys? So increase in concussion rates across all sports, effectively doubling from 1988 to 2004. So what's going on? This increase is most likely due to the increased awareness and reporting. And even so, people still are reporting their injuries, their concussions. So it's probably higher numbers. It is therefore difficult to compare concussion prevalence estimates over this time period. A recent study using retrospective self-reporting found the lifetime prevalence of concussion in water polo to be 36%. The NCAA has carried out similar retrospective self-reporting studies. Among men's contact sports, the concussion prevalence was 17.8% and 19.5% in lacrosse and wrestling, respectively. So it was higher. Of course, wrestling's got higher. I think wrestling was the most, per the last article we read, wrestling had the most concussions, not including football, apparently. Football, they just don't report them. Among women's contact sports, which did not include grappling sports, it's changing. Wrestling, women's wrestling is the fastest growing sport. So I'm going to assume that the concussion rate's going to go up even higher for them. The highest concussion prevalence was in ice hockey, 20.9%. This data set was limited to concussions occurred during an athlete's NCAA career. The vast majority of sports-related concussions research focuses on athletes under 30 years of age, with a significant population of BJJ participants older than 30. Yeah, we old. There is an opportunity to analyze concussions in a population that are studied less frequently. It has been shown that musculoskeletal injuries in BJJ occur more frequently in practitioners over 30. Oh, we getting injured more. No. I hope we don't have an increased prevalence of concussions too. That would suck. Although there has been no research published on brain injuries in this age group. Oh, dang. We screwed. We cooked. Outside of BJJ, there is evidence that females are more likely to suffer concussions in a given sport than their male counterparts. To our knowledge, this phenomenon has not yet been studied in BJJ, but I believe it's to be true. The present study aimed to quantify the lifetime prevalence of concussions among BJJ practitioners. To identify factors associated with greater odds of having a concussion, we hypothesize that the lifetime prevalence of concussions will be similar to other grappling sports. So, with wrestling having the most in collegiate sports, most concussions in collegiate sports, not including football, apparently, I think jiu-jitsu would be pretty high up on there. And judo, they got concussions in judo, bro. We know they got concussions in judo. We know, bro. We know. Well, judo, you're getting slammed constantly. Judo is basically, hey, let me slam you into the floor. Well, their motto is like they're gonna punish you hit you with the earth, right? I mean, that comes with concussions. We also expect the practitioners who participate in competitions and those who are older to have a greater prevalence of concussions. Oh no, and take longer to return to the sport. So we're not gonna cover all this other stuff. Yeah, so the study was 689 males to 89 females, and pretty, normal distribution of age groups, basically. So if you want to see this, let's look at symptoms, guys. This study we'll go back over where you can find the study from, but man, this is educational. This is some good stuff. Let's see. Jason says, neurologists said if you're doing a contact sport, they want you to take a month off, which is not feasible for most athletes. If you're in the over 30 hobbyist category, take that month off. Take that month off. And again, educate yourself. Research symptoms. We're looking at symptoms today, but research the symptoms, research the things you can do to come back faster. This stuff is serious, bro. I never heard anybody talk to me about this stuff. Bro, I got slammed in training and nobody really cared. I'm like, bro, this could have been career ending. training with crazy guys. I'm getting slammed. I don't think I ever slammed anybody. I've done some hard takedowns, but I never just fucking bombed somebody. And then people were doing that to me. I'm like, bro, what's going on, bro? So you got to have awareness, not only to protect yourself, but to protect your training partners. And if you don't have that, listen, man, you ain't going to last very long. You're going to get that double knockout, double concussion syndrome. Let's look at symptoms because that's real. Concussion symptoms. Among the participants who reported experiencing a concussion while engaged in BJJ, we analyzed the symptoms they reported qualitatively. Among participants who reported experiencing a BJJ-related concussion, the median number of signs and symptoms was 4. Okay, wow. You go past 4 symptoms, guys, that ain't good. Take that month off. The most commonly reported sign or symptoms were a headache, which was 75.7%, dizziness 68.5%. The median return to the sport time, irrespective of symptoms, was 3 days. Guys, take 10 days off. Okay, you got Dr. Alec, Professor Alec says you can take 10 days off. I'll write you the prescription, give it to your coach. So people are coming back 3 days, with 30.3% of participants returning on the same day as their reported concussion. Guys, do not go back after the concussion. Okay, go home. Among practitioners who reported a concussion while engaging in BJJ, 26.7 reported a second concussion from BJJ. So that made it even worse. And if we go down here, we can see the headache was number 1, dizziness number 2, feeling in a fog number 3, seeing stars 47. Yeah, you see them stars like in the cartoon, the Tom and Jerry cartoon. That ain't good. Concentration, I'm assuming lack of concentration was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. Number 6 was loss of balance. 7, blurred vision. 8, amnesia. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. 9, nausea. 10, LOC. What is LOC, guys? Does anybody know? Loss of consciousness. Oh, Jesus. Okay, and remember they said you don't have to lose consciousness to have a concussion. I'm assuming once you get to loss of consciousness, that's when you start actually damaging the brain. It becomes more structural, not just functional. And the last one was throwing up. So I've actually seen someone suffer a concussion, and they threw up pretty quickly after that concussion. And you know what we were doing? We weren't even sparring or grappling, nothing. We're diving off stuff, diving off some high tree branch, and the guy, just dived kind of wrong, caught it bad, hit the water, boom, concussion. And he was a professional fighter. Got a concussion from diving into some water for fun. Here we go. Here's you guys. This definitely us. Okay, time to return to sport. 0 days was 30%. 1 to 3 days looks like 32, 33%. 4 to 6 days. Yeah, you guys. We all right here, bro. 0 days, 1 to 3 days. Okay, I think I'm good. So we're gonna read the discussion. I think that'll be it. In conclusions, let's read that part. It says, as a grappling sport, BJJ puts practitioners at risk for incurring a sports-related concussion. In this retrospective survey, 25.2% of BJJ practitioners report having a concussion while engaging in BJJ in their lifetime. So, say there's 1 million people doing jiu-jitsu, 25%. Well, 25% of 1 million, guys. Oh. Is that 250,000? I believe, yeah. 250,000, probably more. And a lot of those are going to be female practitioners, so we got to be careful. Educate the women doing our sport, guys. To our knowledge, this is the first study that attempts to record the prevalence of sports-related concussions in BJJ. Several findings were consistent with the recent studies in other sports. For example, the concussion prevalence of 25.2% in this study was similar to the prevalence of 19.5% reported in NCAA men's wrestling. So that's going to be going up higher because they just added women's wrestling, okay, to college sports. So we're going to see that number. That number might pop up to 25.2, maybe even higher. The reported prevalence of NCAA men's wrestling covers the athlete's collegiate career, typically ranging from 1 to 5 years. Also remember, these guys are young. They're 18 to 20. Well, they're old nowadays. 18 to 26 probably. Because of red shirts and COVID years. It may be more accurate to compare the lifetime prevalence in BJJ to lifetime prevalence in other sports because, they only looked at 5 years of NCAA for wrestling. In a recent study of water polo, athletes, 36% of participants reported at least one lifetime concussion in retrospective surveys. So that looked pretty high right there. When compared to older national studies, the increase in concussion prevalence found in this study is likely secondary to the more inclusive concussion definition, increased concussion awareness, and the methodology of retrospective surveys. In an anonymous survey, 22% of college athletes indicated that they would be unlikely to report concussion symptoms to a coach or athletic trainer. Furthermore, it has been estimated that 35 to 62% of athletes do not report every sustained concussion due to the combination of factors such as lack of knowledge, pressure to play, and attitude towards concussion. So I'm assuming the wrestlers are definitely not reporting all their concussions, especially when it's Big Ten time, NCAA. When it's NCAA time, they're not going to report anything. They're going to keep wrestling, man. They waited their whole lives to get to that stage, and they're not going to let a concussion. Unfortunately, they're not going to let a concussion stop them. Therefore, an anonymous retrospective survey may increase the likelihood of athletes reporting a concussion, particularly given that there is no associated perceived penalty for reporting. So if we could do more anonymous surveys, I think that would help a ton. Man, this is educational. This ain't the exciting stuff. I know you guys love the exciting stuff, but man, I'm actually enjoying this. This is educational, and I actually know people going through this. They're going through concussions. They've gone through concussions. And, even if you haven't gone through one, maybe one day you will, so you want to educate yourself. And this is important. You want to be educated beforehand, You want to know before, okay, I got to take 10 days off. I got to take a whole month off. Oh, these are the symptoms. I can't. Oh, no more video games for a couple days. Oh, let me tell my coach I can't compete. I can't train. I got a concussion. So we got to educate ourselves. We got to educate our athletes. We got to educate other students because look, they're talking about the females again. We also found that females were significantly more likely to experience a concussion while participating in BJJ. So we got to educate ourselves so we can educate our sisters on the mat. In the logistic regression model, gender remains significantly associated with increased odds of suffering a concussion while doing BJJ. So that's pretty bad. This supports a lack of significant. Let's see. Incurring a concussion before BJJ was associated with increased odds of having concussion during BJJ. So if you had suffered concussions in your other sports, you did wrestling, you did water polo, you did football, you're more likely to suffer concussions in BJJ. This is supported in the literature of other non-grappling sports. NCAA football players were shown to have a dose-dependent increased risk. I don't know what that means. Increased risk of concussion based on their previous self-reported concussion history. It is also possible that practitioners are more likely to report a concussion before BJJ, are also more likely to report one when participating in BJJ. We attempted to control for this possibility with the anonymity of the survey. In a multiple variable logistic regression model, increased competition density was associated with increased odds for suffering a concussion during BJJ. In a sport that has a wide spectrum of participants, from competitors to casual practitioners, it is likely that those who frequently compete for training also engage with greater intensity. This would be expected to lead to a greater incidence of head trauma. Among practitioners who had a concussion while engaging in BJJ, there was no increased odds for having a second concussion. We report 21.4% of concussions were recurrent, though this may underestimate the true value as we did not collect data on concussions but beyond the second incident. So, you could possibly have third and fourth incidents. This value is higher than the 8.2 recurrence reported by NCAA wrestling. The difference may be secondary to sample size or to the enforcement of return to sports guidelines in the NCAA. So USA Wrestling, I'm sure, is in charge of NCAA, at least with the protocol with concussions. But we don't have protocols. Is there a protocol for IBJJF, guys? Can you let me know? Is there a protocol for ADCC? Yo, is there a protocol for ADCC? I mean, ADCC let you get slammed. They let you get slammed and they let you keep going. You keep going, concussed, keep going. You get slammed again. Okay, you got to keep going. There's no medical forfeiture or anything, bro. ADCC want to see you die out there for some peanuts. Yo, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So I would like to see IBJJF and other organizations implement concussion protocol. Is that possible? Maybe have, they don't even keep their results for IBJJF. So, maybe have it in their system, which they have all the technology, have it in their system, medical disqualification. So you can't have it so you can't book any tournaments for a month after you suffered a concussion. But that would take some foresight and also, I don't know, care. They got to care about you. They'll take your money. They'll take your $35 a year registration membership fee, but they won't even have medical staff out there to save you when you need them. The most common reported symptoms of a concussion in this study was a headache, reported by 75.7%. Headache is typically the most common reported symptom by athletes who incur concussions. Interestingly, the prevalence of concussions symptoms in BJJ was similar to the results gathered by athletic trainers in high school and college football players, who reported 27.6 and 9.9% of participants reporting memory problems and loss of consciousness, LOC. Among football players with concussions, 27.7 and 8.9 experienced amnesia. I don't know what the difference is. What are those two numbers? They don't really make sense to me. I'm reading it, guys, but I'm not comprehending. Similar proportions of concussions with LOC, loss of consciousness, has been seen in prospective studies in rugby. This suggests that while concussion prevalence may change with data collection methodology, relative symptoms prevalence is more consistent across collection methods and sports. That's a lot of stuff. Let's go to the conclusion. We're getting to the good stuff. This study provides an initial examination of sports-related concussion in BJJ practitioners. Through retrospective study, we have shown that 25.2% of BJJ practitioners reported having a concussion while engaging in BJJ. Female gender was associated with increased odds of incurring a concussion when compared to male counterparts. Practitioners who reported experiencing a concussion before beginning BJJ were associated with increased odds of incurring a concussion while engaging in BJJ. Among practitioners who reported having a concussion while engaging in BJJ, those who competed more times per year were associated with increased odds of incurring a second concussion. Okay, so we got to be careful. With a median return to sports time of 3 days and 30.3% of participants were returning on the same day as incurring a concussion. There is a clear need for increased education among coaches and practitioners. Education on both concussion symptoms and return to sports guidelines are critical in BJJ, where there are typically no athletic trainer or medical professionals monitoring the practice sessions. So that would be pretty interesting. One thing I'm thinking they could do, with IBJJF, there's, at least for black belts, they could do it for everybody. for black belts to get certified, you have to take a CPR course, background check, safe sport, and is that something else there? Okay, I think that's it. And a referee course. So it would be easy if they created a concussion protocol course, right? They could easily add that. Add a little questionnaire, little multiple choice, test or something. Man, that would be easy. That's something they can implement right now. It's not going to cost any more money, and it would be really good to educate the coaches, the team owners, and the higher ups. Realistically, they should add that course for everybody. Through their system, that $35 a month. That I don't know where that money's gone to. Use a portion of that money and create a concussion course or a concussion protocol or both, and start educating people. Start educating people. So we're gonna look at a knockout from Kennedy Blaze. Do you guys know who Kennedy Blaze is? She's she's a super good wrestler. She almost won the Olympics. She got silver in the Olympics, but she could have won. She should have won the Olympics. We're gonna watch her match. Hopefully nobody hits me with a copyright or anything.
Oh, she just. Oh gosh, yeah, head to head.
It's hard to see, but she's a tall girl, so she stepped in with her jaw and jaw butted the girl. They both were moving forward. It's just the girl was shorter, and the short girl, the red girl, her forehead hit Kennedy's jaw, and that was it. Right, there was nothing. So women are through that study. There you go, boom, right there, boom. So two. So is that one concussion or two concussions, guys? So you had the jaw hits the head. Okay, she's out, and then she hits the mat. Who else went through bad concussions? Helen. Helen Morales. Let's see if I can find that. She suffered some bad concussions. I can't pronounce her last name. I can't spell. I'm typing one hand, guys. Let's see. I think she talks about it. Let's see if she talks about hair flow wrestling.
Helen, congratulations.
Thank
Just
you.
made ninth world team. One more than Jordan Burroughs. And I just thought about that. But I kind of want to back up and get into what you were talking about on the mat. I heard rumors about, you said brain injuries, I said concussion or something, but what happened?
I can't really discuss what happened yet, just because just got 3 weeks left
Sure.
to get through Worlds. But it was it was a lot. I'll just say that it was very few people know what actually happened, and it's very quiet about it, and can pretty much hide anything. Posting a good Instagram post every now and then, and so it's kind of just a lot of time being bedridden, under the radar. And I really didn't know if I was ever going to wrestle again, or B, if I could come back in time. So, I mean, really, my plan this summer was like, all I care about is my health. And if I'm healthy enough to do this wrestle-off, cool. If in 2 weeks I'm healthy enough to wrestle at Worlds, cool. But if there's anything that even feels slightly I'm not ready, then I'm not risking it. So, really, I did my first live practice, I think, a week and a half ago. So I was very nervous to wrestle 6 minutes here. I'm like, oh, yeah, it just, had coaches, coach I'm working with said before, he's like, it's not going to be perfect right now. It's just whatever's optimal, the next best thing, the plan B. And that's what I had to go for this time around.
Sure. Man, what's it like, I guess, mentally, emotionally, when you're bedridden? You don't seem like a person who likes to sit around and you got stuff you want to do. Like, how did you mentally, emotionally handle that?
Yeah, if it was just bedridden, that wouldn't even be bad. Everything, yeah, it was just a lot. I would say, yeah, something emotional and psychological and mental. I don't really have, I'd rather say nothing than get into it, because I just, it was a very hard year. I learned a lot, but you know what? It led me to become way stronger. I remember walking around every day just thinking like I'm so broken and in every way, shape, and form. And the one thing that my parents and loved ones kept reminding me is you'll come out stronger for this. And it was a hard, ugly, messy, tough process, but I definitely did. And you know, yeah, I'm really grateful that I get to wrestle right now. I mean, you look at, there's some injuries right now that people are suffering that are far more serious, that, you know, the recovery is way, way longer, and I'm blessed. You know, I'm very grateful that I got to come back to this sport, and I just want to honor my country and to honor the people that believed in me, and to just step on the mat and give everything. You know, I earned the spot. I earned the right to go step out on the mat and represent my country, and that's what I want to do. I'm really grateful for the people that have come and stood by my side and helped me to prepare for that.
So,
I'm sure there are
So that was Helen. I forget what year this was. 6 years ago. So she suffered a pretty bad injury, and we did a video on her. I think after the Worlds, she did Worlds or something. Nogi Worlds. She did Nogi Worlds, and she said she only trains wrestling, can live train wrestling like one time a week. So she, even in this article, this interview, she said she was bedridden for a while, and she didn't even want to talk about it. That's how bad it was. So we saw Kennedy Blades get knocked out, double concuss syndrome there. Helen, she had a bad injury, I'm assuming training, and then, you know, it really affected her. I even think the girl from the Hillbilly Hammer story, the girl he was dealing with, had suffered a severe concussion and neck surgery. You know, all that stuff's related, so that's all pretty bad. So we're going to talk about the Gracie Concussion Challenge. Actually, there's one thing I want to look for. Let's see if I can find judo concussion helmet. You know they got they got protocol. Ooh, let's look up the protocol. I want to see what judo's got to say. Let's see USA Judo. Does USA Judo care about their fighters? I want to see this. I'm looking for this before we get to the Gracies. You know, I'm going to put off the Gracies as long as I can. But I'm looking for judo concussion helmet. I saw some Japanese kids wearing it. I don't know. Is there? Yo, there we go. What is that? You guys see that? I'm trying to judo headgear for safer training. Okay. I don't know if it protects their neck or what. We're going to look and see. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, let's see. I might need to get one of these. So we're going to look at the judo. This is USA Judo, guys. IBJF, do you have a... I don't think IBJF. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know, guys. If IBJJF has some protocols for concussion. It says CDC, heads up concussion. As a leader in the education of judo, the USJF, US Judo Federation, has been monitoring and working with experts regarding the provision of improving the safety and security of all our members and member clubs. We are acknowledging the trend and the need to actively provide the tools in which USJF. Why can't IBJJF have a simple name? IBJF. Why does it have to be IBJJF? I'm nitpicking. We want the members can feel confident that issues such as abuse and concussion will be managed, and that all clubs will be knowledgeable of their obligations to their dojo members. So they have the National Federation of State High School Associations concussion training, and they have Safe Sport, CDC, heads up concussion training. Does Safe Sport have concussion training? I didn't know that. So IBJF doesn't have to do anything. They already have it built in. It says all the people, everybody's got to do CDC concussion training online course. IBJF, where's our concussion course? All athletes and parents and legal guardians must be educated via the distribution and use of CDC concussion fact sheet. All chartered clubs and dojos are to mandate the education of all persons acting as teachers, coaches, and referees about concussion through the organized training published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or NFHS concussion training, and to inform athletes and parents and guardians of minor participants about concussion by means of the CDC concussion fact sheet. The training and provision of information specifically addressed to the basic aspects of the importance of concussion, the evaluation for concussion, the appropriate on-mat and sideline response, and if concussion is considered likely, the return to play after graded physical and mental activity are directed by a professional healthcare provider. Each organization will annually certify in writing that this directive has been followed within the organization. Okay, so they have this NFHS concussion training. They have the Safe Sport concussion training. They have the CDC concussion training. And in a nutshell, this protocol will apply to all judo practitioners, training, seminars, clinics, tournaments, workouts, and will be referred to as judo events. If an individual suffers an impact, especially to the head, that results in a confirmed loss of consciousness of any duration, or if an individual is determined by medical personnel of the event. Remember, loss of consciousness, LOC, is one of the, it's like the less reported symptoms. You got headache, nausea, dizziness, loss of memory, amnesia. All that stuff comes before. Lack of concentration, all that stuff's going to happen before you hit loss of consciousness. The individual shall be immediately removed from the activity in the judo event and any other judo event for the day. Okay, where's the IBJJF? I've never seen this rule. Where's the IBJJF concussion training and protocol? I'm going to start advocating for that. Let's advocate, guys. Help me advocate for that. A responsible adult companion or parent/guardian will be provided with the appropriate CDC fact sheet on concussions. Bro, ADCC, they don't hand you out nothing when you get slammed. They need to hand you a paper. I mean, first they need to pay you, but they need to hand you this paper. Maybe, okay, here's a doctor to assist in monitoring the individual thereafter. If an individual has been removed from a judo event because of significant probability of having sustained a concussion, he or she will not be permitted to return to judo activity for at least 24 hours. We think that should be longer. It should be 10 days per NCAA USA Wrestling protocol. And only then with written permission from a professional healthcare practitioner. The written permission will include specific directions for the graded return to physical activity and judo events. Every judoka, dojo, and judo event should have a concussion emergency action plan. Where's our emergency action plan for concussions? Including contact information for local emergency responders and the locations of trauma centers, hospitals, and other care facilities. Where's all that for us, IBJJF? I assure you, we pay a lot more money than the judo people do, and we get less. We don't get anything. What do we get for our membership? I don't know. I don't know what I get for my membership. What do you get? What am I getting for my membership? What am I getting for all the money I've spent to IBJJF? So talking about that, we got Gracie Concussion Challenge. It says launched by Rose Gracie of the legendary Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu family. The Gracie Concussion Challenge calls on fighters to take control of their brain health by participating in research and getting educated on concussions and chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I can't say it, guys. I'm sorry. Encephalopathy. Encephalopathy. I can't say it. Oh, no wonder we say CTE. Guys, I can't speak it. Let's see. CTE used to be called punch drunk syndrome because it was first found in boxers, but is now found in combat sports athletes from various disciplines. So how can you complete the Gracie Concussion Challenge? So we're not gonna. Let's look at symptoms. I think that's really important. We'll look at symptoms and concussion signs. It says get educated on concussions and CTE to protect your brain and your career. It's crucial to be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of a concussion because a concussion doesn't show up on imaging like an X-ray, CTE, or MRI. Remember, it's not a structural problem. It's a functional problem. Your brain is still the same. It's just functionally it's not working quite the same. And there's no objective test like a blood or saliva test that can determine whether a patient has a concussion. A doctor is able to make a concussion diagnosis based on a comprehensive examination, which includes observing signs of concussion and patients reporting symptoms of concussions appearing after an impact to the head or body. Concussion signs and symptoms are the brain's way of showing it is injured and not functionally normal. Sometimes it can take hours or even a few days for concussion symptoms to appear after the initial injury. So signs, we've talked about this. Loss of consciousness. Remember, that's not the first one. Problems with balance, glazed look in the eyes, amnesia, delayed response to questions, confusion, inappropriate crying, inappropriate laughter, vomiting, and remember, headache was the biggest one. Headache and nausea. It affects your sleep too. Your sleep too, guys. Cognitive symptoms, difficulties with attention, memory problems, loss of focus, difficulty multitasking, difficulty completing mental tasks. Sleep symptoms, mess your sleep up too. Dang, that sucks, bro. Sleeping more than usual, sleeping less than usual, having trouble falling asleep. And emotional symptoms. We didn't hear about this stuff. This is real stuff, man. Anxiety, depression, panic attacks. And, if you're going through this, you have signs of CTE, be sure to check out the Gracie Concussion Challenge. They have a helpline, and you can also donate, and there's more resources. So be sure to check this one out. Is Concussion Legacy Foundation. And the last one we did was the U.S. Well, not that one. The other one we did, I forgot to mention the study. It's on National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information, PubMed Central. And it's the epidemiology of sports-related concussions in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a cross-sectional study. And it says Matthew Spano, Donald Rusisu. I can't say his name. Some other people. Check out that literature, guys. Are you guys tired of concussion talk? I am too, but it's important, guys. I want you guys to be educated. I'm educating myself. So if I see someone go through this or I go through this, God forbid, knock on wood, I'll know what to do. We're almost done. It says the prevalence of mild concussions. On Monday, I got a knee to the head. Just drilling triangles. My partner, he swung his leg around really hard and caught me in the temple with the knee. Got a nice bruise for it. Didn't think much of it and didn't feel very bad at the time. Remember, concussions can go for hours or days later. But yesterday, woke up dizzy and nauseous. Doctor diagnosed a likely mild concussion and recommended a few days off work and a week off training. At least 10 days, guys, at least 10 days. So I started wondering just how common these sort of things are and how often, especially higher level athletes, just train through these. You wake up a little bit dizzy, a bit nauseous, but just put it on stress and bad sleep, overexertion, and continue as normal. I found, at least you knew exactly you knew you got hit in the head. You knew it was a concussion. I found at least one study about this. That might be the study we read. Yeah, I believe so. What do you guys think about the prevalence of mild concussions without losing consciousness in BJJ? How common are these, and how many, if any, have you had? It says they are way underreported and less often treated. I've had 2 concussions, and first it didn't get treated due to lack of health care. Most guys will tell me they're pretty sure they had one at some point. Remember Seeing Stars is one too. I just remembered that. Had one. A guy did a double underpass by flipping me upside down. Yeah, I've seen that happen. You know, they do like a stack pass and they flip the person onto their head. I've seen that a few times. I've had at least 4 to 5 mild concussions and one pretty decently bad one. It's either I'm in turtle and get kneed, or I'm on top side control and get kneed. How are you on top of side control and get kneed? I guess they're trying to recompose. Protect your head and never assume your partner isn't going to spaz. Yeah, that's one of the dangers of spazzy people in general. They be kneeing you and kick you in the head, and you're like, bro, what the world? And you got to be calm. You got to like not overreact. I've had one sloppy double on my coach, ended up getting him down, but wound up with a knee to the temple when hitting the ground. That means you did a bad double leg, bro. I was a bit dazed and confused for a while. It was close to the end of the class, so I just sat out the rest and had 2 days off work for memory. Just laying in the dark mostly was fine after that. Got a mild concussion when I tried to Americana a wrestler, bad move, and got thrown on my head. Wow. From standing, bro? Yeah. I think that self-reported has clearly led to an over-exaggeration. Underreported, bro. What are you talking about? I've had a BJJ-related concussion, but I'm one of 2 people I've ever met in real life who had one. And anecdotally, it's under 1% among people I know, so I believe that it may be. Don't listen to that, dude. Another guy says, yeah, surveys are very problematic in this regard, but on the other hand, mild concussions can have very mild symptoms, so it's not necessarily noticed either. Nowadays, it's accepted that one might be concussed while the symptoms are only fatigue for a few days. Yeah, so there will be some issues with self-reported information surveys, but you know, they were also cross-referencing other sports like wrestling, rugby, and water polo. So if you're going through this stuff, check out the resources we talked about, right, guys? Bro, I'm getting tired. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. Again, I'm not going to be on tomorrow. No video tomorrow, guys. I might repost some stuff, but that's it. And to finish, we're going to look at this judo helmet. I saw some Japanese kids wearing this, so maybe, you know, if you have a young one, maybe look into getting this for them if they do jiu-jitsu or judo or wrestling. And it says judo headgear. This headgear is designed for rough trainings for beginners and practitioners being slightly injured. It fastens Velcro fasteners to the chin, allows flexibility, and perfectly adapts to the shape of the skull. It is padded on the contour of the ears and on the back of the skull. It may also help to distinguish 2 fighters. Okay, what is it made for? Is it for just? I thought it was for the. Dang. This workshop that manufactures this product was unfortunately destroyed during the 2024 Noto earthquake. Wow. That's insane. I'm trying to see these judo concussion helmets. It says for safer training. There's one video here. Can we play the video? Let's see what the video's got to say.
In sports, football gets the most attention for head injuries. But we found out it's not the riskiest sport in Hawaii when it comes to concussions. Gina Mangieri's always investigating and tells us what she's learned. Gina?
Hawaii is unique with a statewide concussion awareness program, now several
wow.
years into working with just about every
statewide
public and
concussion
private school with sports teams. They've
wow.
also been tracking data, and it's eye-opening about the head injury risks across sports our kids play.
The Hawaii Concussion Awareness Management Program, or HCAMP, has data over several years about thousands of athletes across the state. And it knows where each of the 1,000 concussions last year among
wow.
9,000 players came
judo.
from.
Oh, wow,
and it's
judo.
not football. They're seeing it in other sports.
You see wrestling? Judo.
How to fall, how to tumble, and that can contribute to a lot of their injuries.
The sport with the highest number of concussions versus the number of athletes is girls judo.
A lot of it, it's very surprising to us here locally as well as nationwide that judo is girls judo is our #1.
And for the boys, the sport ranks up there too, just not with the highest rate of concussion.
For boys, it's a little bit further down on the road.
Football, basketball, soccer, judo.
Football, basketball, soccer, and then the
football,
boys judo.
definitely. Basketball?
We headed to the annual judo state
How did
championship
basketball get up there?
to find out, is all this data being put into action to keep kids safer?
Can you tell me one or two examples of what might have changed in the past couple years based on what they learned?
Sure, the double knee seonage was considered a violation now.
What is that,
So
bro?
that was one of the throws that they felt that was endangering for concussions.
What is that, bro? I don't
and
know what
head
that
injury.
is.
So that's now considered a violation as a throw.
This and other newer violations were put into the rules in the past year.
I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Officials try to change behavior by disqualifying athletes. By disqualifying athletes, the coaches are then forced to train them properly, so then there is no technique where there is control and putting someone on the head, and instead it should be on the back.
Even today, have you had some disqualifications yet overhead?
Right, exactly. And
Oh,
because
right when they
the
said
whole
that,
point of
yo.
judo in high school judo.
Why is there a big?
I teach my
Why is there no
officials
mat
and
in the
tell my
middle right there,
officials
guys?
It's safety #1.
But besides outlawing certain moves, are there other steps to be taken?
Any
Oh, that
degree
kid hit
of
his head, too.
additional safety gear make a measurable difference?
That's a hard one to say as far as safety gear. In other sports like battle sports, boxing, taekwondo, it's more they're taking direct blows to the head. Whereas in judo, it's not so much you're hitting the head physically with a fist. It's more the tumbling and the falling on the ground. That's typically when they get concussed.
My feeling from over 30 years of doing judo, if I put a headgear, I won't be able to judge that, and probably that headgear will get caught, and then that would endanger my neck.
Unlike football, where helmets and other gear are essential for players' safety, in a sport with no gear, it all comes down to training
Yeah,
and
almost broke his arm.
constantly evolving the sport.
I think a lot of it in the beginning is teaching the technique, and they progress from the learning how to tumble, learning how to throw, and then progressing the athletes instead of just trying to jump them into competition too soon.
I think our trainers and I think all the leagues and all the experts involved, they're doing a good job at trying to limit the amount of concussions we have. And I think, we're getting very knowledgeable about it.
I didn't know judo was so big
We
in
go to
Hawaii.
workshops
That's
and
crazy.
We do what we can to improve our conditions.
Well,
to make it
my friend
safe.
Lakay is from
I
Hawaii,
learned
so
this
maybe that's
information
why.
about concussions in sports after I started looking into the protective gear for Hawaii's public school football players. To see my complete investigation and breakdown into which schools are providing the best football equipment, particularly helmets.
Yo, I didn't know that about Hawaii. Shout out to Hawaii, bro. Hawaii's doing some good stuff, man. So yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot. Too much to recap, but yeah, we kind of recapped it a few times. But we need protocols. We need have more education on this stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff, so I learned a lot. I'm sure I bored a lot of you guys, but man, listen, that's important. That stuff might save you, bro. You might get a concussion. One of your students might get a concussion. One of your friends might get a concussion. Somebody you know might get a concussion. And if you have that little bit of knowledge, it can help a ton. Just you saying, hey, you need to take 10 days off. You might help someone have a better quality of life and not get double concussion syndrome or triple concussion syndrome or quadruple concussion syndrome. So we learned a lot, man. Very educational. This is what I want my channel to be about. Of course, the drama, okay, that gets the views. I want a ton of views too, but man, I want to educate you guys and I want to educate myself. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying these videos. I have no clue. Thanks to the people that were in the chat room. That was fun. I like you guys hanging out and talking with me. Otherwise, man, I want you guys to enjoy your Friday like I'm going to go enjoy my Friday. And be safe. Be smart. Watch out for those concussions. Stuff can happen. Accidents happen. You might go with the crazy white belt, get slammed on your head. Connie Basami'd. You never know. So I'm hoping we can enact some change. Maybe somebody from IBJJF or ADCC or whoever else can see these videos and they can take some action. That would make me so happy to see, some change in our sport. I want our sport to do well. I want there to be more practitioners that are safe. And as more people get into the sport, there's going to be more concussions. There's nothing we can do about that. We have to be smarter about educating people and having protocols in advance. We need the protocol before all the people get up in the sport and get their concussed and legs broken. We need the protocols and the rules kind of, we need them ready before people need them. That's it, guys. I'm done, man. Bro, go enjoy your Friday, guys. Go enjoy your Friday like me, man. That's it, man. We out. Let me play this inverted gear intro one more time. You guys want to support the channel? We got inverted gear. Where my thing at, bro? We got inverted gear. We got what else we got? We got Cash App. We got Venmo. We got Patreon. Whatever you guys want to do. If you don't have the money, go ahead and just like this video and share it. I might repost this video later on my channel. That's usually what I do. And just like it, then share it if you see, or comment on it. That's all I'm asking for. You ain't got to give me money. I ain't like these other people. Just share the video. Put a little fire. Yo, that's the key right there. Fire. What you guys know about that fire? So I'm gonna play my little intro with inverted gear. You guys know I love inverted gear. Hey, happy Friday, guys. Hey, Nikki. Shout out to Nikki. I'll give you a call in a little bit, Nikki. Hey, get your inverted gear, guys. Inverted gear. Offer code ALEC. BJJ mental models, offer code ALEC. Everything offer code ALEC. Hey. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.